It finally happened, folks. The saga of Attack on Titan has finally, after 10 years, has come to a conclusion. And the internet is not happy. It's like so one or the other. Like, I have yet to see like a comment that's like, I'm in the middle area. I don't think it's amazing, but I don't hate it. Everybody's just hate it or it's an amazing thing. It's the best thing ever. It's truly bizarre, but there's plenty of people in the middle. I'm a person technically that's in the middle on the ending. I've been kind of keeping it to myself for a long time, but I did read to the end of the manga series. I've just never really spoke about it. My statement to most people about my thoughts on the ending of Attack on Titan, the manga, was shrug. Like, it was for me, a shrug ending. Like, it didn't feel like anything really happened that was significant. Yes, obviously, to the story of the world of it, yes, something really big does happen. But it was just kind of one of those endings where it felt like nothing really technically like crucial to the people of the world going forward changed. It is one of those kind of endings where it's like there is still this massive division. And everything that Eren was building up to this point, everything around him, everything he was doing, some of those lines just frustrated me. They were literally like, I seen this. And it to distill it as much as I can, Eren's statement literally says, I seen everything. I did this. I knew it wouldn't change anything, but I did it anyways. And it's all building up to this point of, let's make you guys the heroes. And it was just one of those kind of endings where I'm like, you made them the heroes, but you didn't change anything. And technically, it wasn't really the case in that regard. It's just, it kind of turns into this massive, massive climax to nothing really changes, which is fine. That is a very, very common statement to make, and it's a very true statement. No matter what Eren does, there's still going to be hatred. There's still going to be war. Nothing is going to change. They're still going to be battling each other. There's still going to be racism. There's still going to be segregation. There's still going to be all these nasty things that humans do. Eren's not going to change that. It's just the problem is we did all this to do it. And yes, you can argue that most of that is to even the playing field. I knocked out 80% of the population to do that. But it's still like, I don't see Eren as a hero. I'm not glorifying. This is the problem with... This is why I literally don't talk about Attack on Titan, by the way. Is because every time I talk about Attack on Titan, everybody says, well, then you believe this. I made one funny video where I was talking about how much I hated Gabby. And immediately I get a bunch of comments saying, so you think everything that Eren's doing is okay, don't you? And it's like, where did I say that I liked Eren? Truth be told, when I first started the series way back 10 years ago, I was hooked. I was immediately hooked. I thought it was amazing. I was like, cool. This is like, yeah, as many people joke around, it's pretty much like a fleshly mecha. It was a really cool show that started out. Loved all the stuff about the basement, everything building up to that, even like sprinkling into the outside people coming in, getting the other perspective. But at some point, I just fell off. I stopped liking Eren as a character, like even before he goes crazy. Stopped liking Eren as a character. Never cared for Mikasa. Most of my focus, my enjoyment went to other characters. Like, I thought Reiner's character was amazing. Bertolt, Levi, all these other side characters were the ones that I liked. I didn't care about the two main characters. I mean, that's probably why partially the ending doesn't work for me. Like, the whole thing with Mikasa and Eren and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm happy for her, I guess. But the side characters became the focus for me. And everything around Eren, I didn't care about. I didn't even like Armin. I hate him. He's just so whiny. And even when he does kind of get the guts, he's still a whiny kid, which I don't blame him. I fully understand this is a screwed up world and everything, but I just don't, there's not a character that I can get behind. I didn't find within this very vicious world anybody to really connect to. So yeah, even despite all the other aspects of the ending, that doesn't really work too much for me because I kind of lost that love a long time ago. At some point, I was just reading the manga to finish it. At some point, I just became Stockholm Syndrome. And I just kind of wanted it to end. Again, not that I hated this series. I just was kind of in the middle area. It's like I just kind of wanted it to end. I personally feel like the mangaka writes in circles. He has like 5 pages of text, wall of text, that all talk about something in a circle that could have easily been explained in 2 lines of dialogue. But I still pushed through it because I kind of wanted to see where this story would go in the end. What's going on with the Titans, Ymir, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, with the ending, it just felt like an absolute shrug. Oh, Mikasa gets Eren. Ymira's like, oh, that's what I needed to see. Everything's fine. Remove the curse. All the Titans go away. Yada, yada, yada. And the world goes back to fighting each other. It's still the same thing. Nothing was accomplished besides Eren killing 80% of the population. Which again, if that's the statement the writer wants to make, that's fine. Genocide and mass murder, if that's what his world he wants to play the character out, that's fine. I understand the world itself is so screwed up, and Eren goes to a state that he feels like this is the only choice that he has, despite there being several other choices. That's the choice he makes. That's fine. I'm fine with the writer making the decision that he makes. And I don't hate the show for it. I don't hate the story for it. It just, for me, in the end, is, like I said, it's a shrug. But that's all to assume that this is it. That's all to assume this is it. Because let's be honest, just like I posted immediately after watching it, the end for now. Until I think they have this other project they started up. They started a Twitter account. I haven't been keeping up on it because, again, I'm not like super massive Attack on Titan fan here. But I would assume that something like this that has made so much money, they're going to make something else. It's just like I say with everything else, Demon Slayer, all that other stuff, Dragon Ball, everything will never end. As long as it is a big property that's making them a lot of money, they're going to keep making stuff for it. So Attack on Titan's not going anywhere. And yes, technically, when I read the manga, they didn't have the 0.5 chapter at the very end when I read it. I thought that was the end. But apparently he released another chapter. It was a 0.5 chapter, which shows that whole segment after the credits on the episode itself, which is where time flies by, explosions happen. You see Mikasa, it looks like she brings somebody over. She's had kids. She dies there. They bury her there too. You see the rockets going off in the background. Everything grows over. And then this person, which in the manga looks like they're wearing at least their usual outfits. I'm going to assume it's probably somebody in the generation of Mikasa. Somebody shows up and walks inside the tree where Eren was buried. So my assumption there is they're basically seeding the idea of it is technically the trope of, you know, the alien egg opening up at the end of the after the casserole. It's that nothing changes kind of ending. The hand comes out of the grave. It starts again. It's that kind of ending. It is definitely something that's alluding to this isn't done yet. Which, yes, a lot of people do. I mean, they did with Nice Sidonia. I hate that. I hate when they do that, but they do it. But it kind of is one of those things that kind of open the door to, yes, this is still going to go. I want to leave that door slightly open because the publisher says that we might do some side projects, and I got to make sure that I leave it open. So we'll probably have some post-apocalyptic Attack on Titan. But yeah, that is all to say. I just wanted to come on here and give you guys my thoughts. Like I said, when I read the manga, I kind of pushed it to the end. When I got to the end, I thought it was a shrug ending. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. And I was hoping that something would change with the anime. I assumed that it wouldn't, just because based on the previous release they did, it seemed like everything was going the same direction as before. Everybody was saying, no, the next episode, the one that's releasing today, that could change everything. No, they're already on that set path. The reason why I didn't care for it, that path is already set. And so this episode can't change that. And sure enough, it didn't really. They changed a couple lines of dialogue. I've seen a couple people posting saying that, oh, if you hate the manga, make sure to check out the anime because they definitely changed some stuff. The only line that I seen that was different was that Armin, when he was talking to Eren, said, in the anime, he said, let's go together to hell. Whereas in the manga, it was saying something to the effect of, Eren, you did this all for us. I won't let it go to waste. So that's the difference. In the anime, it sounds more like, I'm going to bear that burden with you kind of thing. Whereas in the manga, it could have been that the manga, the original Japanese, meant that. It just translated that way. It could be the same exact thing. So nothing really changed. The reason that some people hate it was because some certain dialogue exchanges were weird. I don't think so. I think most people just hated either... there's a lot of reason why I've seen people hating the ending. It's some that hate what they did with Eren. Some people hate what they did with Mikasa. Some people just hate the ending in general. There's a lot of reasons. They think it didn't end in some cool explosion. Eren didn't wipe out everybody. There's a lot of reasons that I see that people hated the ending, but I think most people have a different opinion. And for me personally, like I said, it was a shrug because I didn't feel like it changed anything. Everything that Eren built up that he knew wasn't going to change anything was all that, and I felt like there was something else missing there. I will say, though, the anime was a lot better than the manga for me. just because I felt like the whole fight on the back of Eren was a jumbled mess in the manga. I could not get a sense of who was going where, who was moving to where. Whereas, at least with the anime, I could understand what was going on. Now, granted, at some point, all the CGI blobs of flesh smashing into each other at some point got a little bit exhausting for me. I'm not a big fan of the CGI they used with this series, but at the same time, I fully understand. The assumption was that CGI was going to be used. That said, the whole scene with Peak, I don't think I was a massive fan of her until I watched the anime, and how they pulled off that scene of her running down there and changing and then attacking, changing. She said upwards of 100 times. I was like, that was really cool. I really didn't get that hype with that scene in the manga, but that scene in the anime totally nailed it for me. It was fantastic. But overall, yes, visually it was great. They did a lot of really fantastic stuff. The push to the edge was really creatively done, really heartbreaking. A lot of the shots, even like the shot with Eren and Armin in the footprints. In the manga, it was like black and white. You couldn't really tell it, but with the anime, it was just a field of blood, which technically should have been the case. And they kind of technically did solidify what they were sitting in a lot more visually, having them in blood and lifting up these parts of people's bodies and stuff like that. It was really did kind of nail in what the situation was they were in there. So it does technically heighten up the emotion in a lot of sense, being a visual spectacle, and yes, technically getting the voice acting and everything in there as well. So it had its definite pros being in the animated format, and then of course having Suwano Hiroyuki music. So obviously, yes, I'm going to say that despite my saying that it's not changing my feelings of the manga, it's still a step up from the manga because everything that it enhances. But that's just my take. Don't get too angry. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you thought of the ending. Did you read the manga? Did this change your mind? Did you not read the manga and you're like, yeah, I think this is a great ending? Let me know. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button, subscribe my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super links, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate everybody does, and I'll take care.